Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of the X Factor Sports Podcast, Season 5, Episode 11. That's right. We are one episode away from the season finale next week, Episode 12. I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We got a great show for you. We are on YouTube and Rumble every Wednesday night. You can also check on all the audio platforms to listen to the X Factor Sports Podcast as well. Like I said, we got a great show for y'all tonight. We got football. We got Major League Baseball historic watches. We also have history being made in the WNBA. And that's where we're going to start with the layup lines with the WNBA, the ladies first. Congratulations to Miss A'ja Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces, best player in the WNBA, for reaching 1,000 points in a season. This has never happened in WNBA history, a player scoring 1,000 points in a season. So you got to keep in mind, the WNBA is very young. There are women in the WNBA that are older than the league itself. All right, it's not even 30 years old. So there are going to be a lot of milestones being hit here in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm excited to see what happens. Right now, we have the best player in the league, A'ja Wilson, a runaway for the MVP. She has the highest scoring average in WNBA history, 27 points a game. Like I said, she's over 1,000 points for the first time in league history. So congrats to A'ja Wilson and the Vegas Aces for celebrating that. So this is huge for the WNBA. History being made. They're getting new fans every year with the help of the rookies, Caitlin Clark, A'ja Wilson, of course. But what that did was open the door for casual fans and for people that weren't fans of the WNBA to come see how great these players are and come see how great an A'ja Wilson is. So congrats to her. They're on pace to contend for a three-peat. They're the 4th seed right now in the WNBA, and they have, I think, 2 games left, or the regular season ends this week, and they'll start the playoffs. So the Aces will begin their defense of the back-to-back WNBA title. So congrats to them. All right. Be sure to tune in all fall for the WNBA playoffs. All right. Over to Major League Baseball. History is being made. We're on a watch for the National League and we're on a watch for the American League. All right. So in the National League, we're doing our 50-50 club watch like we've been doing over the past month. Shohei Ohtani, 47 home runs, 48 stolen bases at this point. He is on pace to join the 50-50 club. First person to do it in Major League Baseball history. I think he's going to do it. The regular season ends September 29th. So he says 2 weeks to get this 50-50 mark. I think he will do it. He might do it next week. Hopefully it'll make our season finale great. And we can talk about that. That's what we're looking for, talking about making history. And then in the American League, we have a Triple Crown watch. All right, Aaron Judge, New York Yankees. He's for sure going to get the American League MVP. He's on a Triple Crown watch. So for those of you who don't know what the Triple Crown is in baseball, it's when you lead the league in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. He's first in home runs and RBIs, and he's third in batting average. So he's on pace. He can still, if he has a couple of great games here in the next couple of weeks, he can push that average up. He's not behind by much. Bobby Witt Jr. is the lead for the American League batting average. But get this, Aaron Judge is still leading the majors in home runs, and he had a slump at the end of August, like a 3-week slump where he could not hit a home run, his batting average slid, and he's still on pace to win the Triple Crown. So that just shows you how dominant he's been, how good the Yankees have been. So congrats to him. It will be cool to see Shohei Ohtani getting the 50-50 club, first time ever, and then see a Triple Crown on the other side in the American League. I'm here for it. The X Factor Sports Podcast is here for history to get made. We want to see it all happen. So congrats to them. All right, so college football. What did we learn last week with college football here in this quick news? 2 things we learned. Texas jumped over Georgia for the number 1 spot in the country. and Georgia barely surviving against Kentucky, getting a last-minute touchdown. Quinn Ewers goes out against UTSA for Texas, and they bring in Arch Manning. Yes, I know the last name sounds familiar. He is one of the Mannings, believe it or not. He's not Peyton or Eli's son. He's the nephew, all right, the older brother's son, Cooper. But he stepped in at quarterback and went crazy. I don't know if y'all saw it. 5 touchdowns. He had a 67-yard touchdown run. He's threading the needles with passes, back shoulder throws, throwing post touchdowns in the back end zone on the pylon. Like, this kid is good. So what I learned from Saturday is the Texas Longhorns have a quarterback. Hopefully this ain't a Wally Pipp situation, but the Longhorns got a quarterback in Arch Manning. So Quinn Ewers, you can chill and rest. It was UTSA, but still, for him to come in and dominate the way he did was incredible. He only got sacked once. Like I said, 5 touchdowns, over 200 and some yards, 1 rushing touchdown. So Arch Manning, he might be the next one for sure. He had a great game. But then also, what I learned from last week, I told y'all we don't need to watch Colorado football anymore until they start winning. But aside from that, Travis Hunter might be the best college player in the country. That Colorado State game, Travis Hunter had 13 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and oh, by the way, he plays defense. Had an interception on the defensive side. This kid is a pro through and through. He's a first rounder for sure. He might be the best player in the country. I don't know how he has this much energy to play on both sides. He plays probably 100 snaps a game at least, week in and week out. If he can stay healthy, he has to be in a running for Heisman. I know it's going to take Colorado winning games for him to get in the Heisman discussion, but he better be in the discussion for like the Biletnikoff Award or some defensive awards. He has to win some awards for playing both sides like this. I've never seen anything like this before in college. For somebody to go out and produce so heavily on the offensive end, be relied on for 13 for a buck and then 2 touchdowns, and then, oh, by the way, I'm going to get a pick on the other side. So that's what I learned this weekend from college football. Texas may be the new best team in the country, or maybe it was just Georgia had a bad week, even though they still won. Arch Manning looks for real right now, and Travis Hunter might be the best player in the country. All right? So that's what we got for quick news. So let's shift to this. We all saw what happened to Tua Tagovailoa on Thursday last week. Another concussion, playing against the Buffalo Bills, prime time on Thursday nights. I feel like me and my poker guys are bad luck. The last time we played poker out at a bar on Thursday, Tua had a Thursday night game against Cincinnati, and he got a concussion on national TV. This is the second time it's happened while we've been having our poker nights at the bar. We might be bad luck. We need to stop having poker nights at bars. I don't know. But my question is, should Tua retire from the NFL? All right. With all that's happened over the since 2020, he's had 3 recorded concussions. Mind you, this is the NFL. A lot of these players get concussed and not all of them get recorded. But he has 3 recorded concussions since 2020. I believe he had a concussion while he was at Alabama as well. So that's 4 that we know about. All right. But we got to look at all the factors of this, of Tua's retiring or not. He just signed an extension with the Dolphins, 4 years, $212. And they obviously showed that they're invested in Tua Tagovailoa based on what he's done last season. And because of how hard it is to get a sustainable quarterback for your franchise. So, but after having these concussions, do y'all believe that Tua should retire? Me personally, I don't think he should, but maybe that's the athlete in me. Maybe that's the stubbornness in me. Maybe it's his free will. He has made the decision and chosen to play this game. Everybody out there that goes out on the field is at the same risk. Some may argue that they're not because they haven't had as many concussions or recorded concussions as Tua. But he knows the risk. His family knows the risk. His loved ones, his friends, they all know the risk that he's taking in this game. The risk of CTE we all know about. And by the way, side note, we still talking about Tua, but y'all remember that movie Concussion? It came out a couple years ago. The NFL did a splendid job. I won't say the NFL. Somebody did a splendid job of burying this movie because I can't find it anywhere. It's almost like it didn't exist. But there was a movie that came out, obviously talking about how serious concussions was, and it was putting a bad light on the league. And somebody somehow, some way buried those tapes. I mean, it's like the Incredible Hulk movie that came out in 2003. Nobody remembers. It just disappeared. It's lost in space. It's buried with some Italian dudes. Like I don't know where to find this movie, where to find any reference to this. But with Tua Tagovailoa, obviously this is serious and he has a serious decision to make. They did put him on IR. They announced on Tuesday that they're going to put him on IR, which means he's going to have to miss at least 4 weeks. And in that time, he sees specialists. They find out what's the best decision for him. What I think personally is you sit and you listen to the doctors. You make sure that you are physically able to go out and perform. There are a lot of horror stories with concussions, obviously with CTE. When players get injured, we don't ever think about their home life. I know players and I know people that have had concussions. They can't sit in the light. They wake up vomiting. Their head is spinning room all the time. Like they can't move. People have to help them move around. So I'm sensitive to the symptoms of what it does. But it's hard to tell somebody who's done something their entire life and who is living out their dream to stop doing it. When they feel like they just need to rest, fall back, and when they are physically capable of doing this said act again, that they want to go out and do it. So I'm not even thinking about the money. That's more of a franchise owner, coach, GM type of conversation because they invested in the product, right? I'm talking about Tua the person. And it may seem like I'm taking the person angle, but not in the way y'all want me to, because I'm saying I think he should keep playing. Again, it's going to be his decision, but I feel like if he is comfortable and he knows all the factors and he understands the risk, then go ahead and go out and play. I mean, people go bungee jumping. Obviously, this is apples and oranges, but people go bungee jumping. People go skydiving. People do all these crazy stunts, knowing the risk, yet they still do it. That's a sample size of what somebody has built for their entire life to get to be an NFL quarterback. And then to finally get to a place where he's a good NFL quarterback. It's going to be a tough decision. So I say all that to say it's a tough decision. It's not something that can be solved on this podcast. It's not something that any other show can solve. Everybody's going to play, barstool therapist or barstool GM or couch GM. But at the end of the day, it's his decision. And I believe he needs to make the decision that's best for him. And if the best decision is for him to play football, who are we to judge that? So get better soon, Tua. Hope to see y'all back on the field. The Dolphins are better when you play. The NFL's better when you play. So I hope you get better, man. All right. So we're not done with the heavy, unfortunately, but fortunately. We're going to stay in the injuries, right? We're going to talk about the NFL injuries. I have a theory on why we're seeing so many injuries early in the NFL seasons. It ain't just this season. I know there's a bunch of fantasy owners that are pissed off. One of them shaking their head at me right now. Christian McCaffrey hadn't played a game yet. A.J. Brown's out for a couple games. Deebo Samuel's out. So there's a pattern with these things. A lot of soft tissue injuries are happening either before or during the first couple weeks of the NFL season. This isn't the first year this stuff has happened. A lot of calf strains, a lot of calf and hamstring and quad strains, a lot of soft tissue injuries, right? I have a theory. I believe the reason that these injuries are happening is because these players don't play in the preseason. right? We've shortened the preseason up to 3 weeks, but extended the regular season to 18 weeks, 17 games. I wasn't a fan of it then. I'm not a fan of it now. These players don't want to play in the preseason. So now we're asking them to start ramping up during regular season games, and that's how you pull muscles. They haven't played 100%. They're going to go out week one, play 100% because they haven't played any of these preseason games, and that's why we're seeing these injuries. That's at least my thought. Anytime I've ever had a soft tissue injury, all my boys that know me that have played ball with, if I've strained a calf or strained a quad, it's because I probably hadn't played in a long time and my muscles are stiff, and then I go out and play in one of these leagues, or I go play pickup ball, try to go full speed, make a move, pull something. So this is me playing at nowhere near a level of a professional athlete. So for them to be able to push with all that force and go run into another human being going full speed and not expect injury is crazy to me. I think that these players need to play more in the preseason. And they can do a regimen. It can be a well-known documented regimen. If you are first string, you play 1 series in week 1, you play 2 series in week 2, you play 3 series in week 3, or something like that. You know what I mean? Play the first quarter in week 1, whatever. The point is to get your body used to playing football again and ramping up. So, because when they get into live action, their bodies are ready. They have a little callus on the body so they can continue to explode and move in real time, full speed. So that's one component. The other component is we get a bad product the first month of the year. September looks like preseason games. There's so many turnovers. There's so many flags. The refs are even in preseason mode. The refs look bad. Like nobody is ready for regular season football until the end of September. It's just a bad 4 weeks. The betting lines are bad. Like it's bad all around for everybody. You see how many upsets it was last week? There were so many road upsets, even on Monday night. The mistakes that's being made, the miscues, because these guys don't play in the season, especially for teams that get new players. I think it's paramount that teams that get new players play in the preseason. Now, if you're a veteran team who's been together, you're New Orleans. So look at the New Orleans Saints. They're a prime example of a team that's a veteran group. They've played together, and you can see they out the gate, right? Then you have a team like Philly, who has a brand new offensive coordinator. One of the best centers in NFL history retires, who was calling the offense at the line in Jason Kelce. You add a huge piece like a Saquon Barkley, right? You're dealing with contract negotiations, all these things. And then you expect them to go out and play. They didn't look good in Brazil. They damn sure didn't look good on Monday. There's no continuity. And if they would have played in preseason games, I feel like even if you played 1 series in week 1, 2 series in week 2, 3 series in week 3, the offense has some kind of rhythm, some type of continuity. Football is about rhythm, especially on the offensive side of the ball. That's what I see. We look at the 49ers. None of their starters play in the preseason. Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams are all holding out all preseason. Christian McCaffrey doesn't play at all. Now we get into the season, Debo's out, Christian McCaffrey's out. Now we have to rely on Brandon Ayuk to be the number 1 guy, and he's in preseason mode because he didn't play all preseason, right? Week 2 is his second game of real live action. Yes, they're a veteran team, but it just matters when you come together and play these games. And that's what I feel like has been the biggest letdown of the last few seasons. It ain't just this year. If you look back, the September games just always seem sluggish. They always seem rough. They are never clean. There's way too many penalties. The Sunday night game, the Bears and the Texans, it was 21 penalties in that game. 22. In a football game, that's way too many penalties for a professional football team. That's like high school. Like, why is so many and they're bad penalties? It's like holding it's like delay a game because they're not ready to go full speed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I think these early season injuries are predicated on no preseason games being played by your first stringers. And now we got to look at a bad product in September and wait for October for these games to start looking good. So y'all let me know what y'all think. What is happening with these early season injuries? Do you think it has something to do with lack of preseason or lack of the guys playing? Do you think it's just freak accidents? Do you think that the players need to play more in the preseason? You guys let me know what you think on the X Factor Sports Podcast. We are on YouTube and Rumble. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow the formula. Subscribe plus share equals expanding and growth. So be sure to follow that platform and follow that formula. All right. Now, let's get to your favorite segment of the show. All right. The one y'all been waiting for, that Bet That segment. All right. So this week we are doing Week 3 NFL Bet That. So instead of doing the X Factors, we're going to do a 5-leg parlay on the primetime games, or the Thursday night game, a Sunday noon game, a Sunday 3 p.m. game, a Sunday night game, and the Monday night football game. There's actually 2 Monday night games on this week. We're going to do one of them. All right. And then we're going to squeeze in the team of the week. So let's go ahead and get to the 5-leg parlay. On Thursday night, we have the Patriots at Jets. All right. The Patriots are 7-point underdogs. I actually have the Patriots covering in this game. The Patriots surprised me. They are a lot better than I thought they were going to be. So congratulations to them. Jacoby Brissett is a calm presence in the locker room. Looks like they're going to move Drake May along slowly. Probably what they should have did in Carolina to Bryce Young. Now he's benched, unfortunately. But it looks like the Patriots are good. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They play good defense. And against a Jets team who we don't know who they are yet, I don't think the Jets are good enough to be a touchdown favorite against anybody. Aaron Rodgers is going to give you 165 yards and a touchdown maybe. I don't see that beating the New England Patriots by a touchdown. So I got the Patriots covering. It's a divisional game. The Patriots look better these first 2 games than I thought they would. They could actually be 2-0. They lost in overtime to Seattle, which was a nice, hard-fought game. And the Jets, honestly, to me, don't really look that good. So I don't think they're going to be a touchdown favorite against a good, disciplined team like the Patriots. So I'm taking New England to cover. All right. In the Sunday early game, we picked the Eagles and the Saints. This should be a big game. This should be a good game. We were anticipating that this would be 2-0 versus 2-0, but the Eagles kind of dropped the ball against the Falcons on Monday night. So I'm going to take the Saints straight up. They look great. And this is my team of the week. Team of the week, the New Orleans Saints. I got them on the money line. The Saints look good in the first 2 weeks. Check this out. This is what the Saints did. Going back to last season, in Week 18, the New Orleans Saints scored 47 points and won. Week 1, they blow out Carolina and score 47 points. Week 2, they come back because y'all say, oh, we did it against a sorry team. Okay, check this out. They go to Dallas. They go to Dallas and put up 45 on them. So they don't look like a slouch to me. Derek Carr looks good. Alvin Kamara looked like he turned back the hands of time, like Drew Brees is still quarterbacking. They look great. Over 40 points per game the first 2 games of the season. And also, check this out. Every single offensive drive they've had, they've scored this year. They have not punted the ball yet. How crazy is that? When I was just talking to y'all last segment about how sloppy all these other teams are, this is a prime example of one of those veteran teams that got their ish together and they came out ready to ball. All right. Scored on every offensive possession. I got them straight up against the Eagles. The Eagles will come out and play hard because they had a disappointing loss. But I think the Saints go marching in. So I got them on the money line. All right. Sunday in the late game, We got the Ravens, a desperate Baltimore Ravens team against a desperate Dallas Cowboy team. This is a big game for both. I don't think the Ravens want to go down and be 0-3. I also don't think the Cowboys want to lose 2 straight and drop to 1-2 in this division. However, I think the Ravens need this game more. It's on the road. They feel like they gave 2 games away. I got the Ravens covering on the road. They're 1-point favorites. I think they cover. I think they win the game. It's a must-win game for Baltimore. They can't go down to being 0-3. All right. The Cowboys are so up and down. The one time I give them light, the one time I try to give them props, they get blown out at home. So I'm not gonna follow this wave of we them boys or whenever they have a good game. I'm just gonna pick on my head. I think the Ravens win this game. I think they're more desperate. I think they have the better coach in Harbaugh. I think the Ravens come out and play a disciplined game, and I think they come out on the road and win. So I got them winning that game on the road. Ravens cover. In the Sunday night game, actually Sunday night, Chiefs at Falcons. Your boy going to be in Atlanta that weekend. Might stumble upon a game. Might be there. Got to check my social media. Might have something for y'all. We'll see. But the Chiefs are at the Falcons. All right. In this game, I'm actually taking the Falcons to upset the Kansas City Chiefs. I got the Falcons on money line. All right. This feels like Chiefs versus Colts to me last season. If y'all remember that game, remember the September games, the Chiefs look a little sluggish. Isaiah Pacheco is out. They haven't looked great the last 2 games, but they've won them. But it feels like they're playing on borrowed time. The Falcons had a huge win, a fourth quarter drive for Kirk Cousins. Kirk O'Chains went to Philly and got him a win. So I feel like the Falcons at home, I think they get the upset. I think they pull it off. The defense was surprisingly good on Monday night. I think the Chiefs have their hands full coming on the road. This is usually one of them games that they slip and give up. They do it every year. Even though they win the Super Bowl, you look back on their schedule and you're like, how the hell they lose to the Colts in week 4 or whatever week it was? I feel like this is going to be one of those games. The Chiefs will probably win their division. They'll probably be a 1 or 2 seed. And then we'll look back and be like, they lost to the Falcons? So I'm taking the Falcons straight up on the money line. I think Bijan Robinson and Algier have a big day on the ground. The Chiefs struggle with running backs. They got a nice little 1-2 punch. This is the Chiefs' first road game of the season as well. So just a lot of components against the Chiefs. Feel like this is a trap game, and I think the Falcons get them. All right. Then we got the Monday night game. So the Monday night game we're going to choose to go with is Jacksonville at Buffalo. 5.5-point underdogs. I'm going with Jacksonville to cover the spread. The Bills are 14-15-2 at home against the spread over the last 3 years. All right. So they're not even above 500 when it comes to getting the spread at home. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are a 500 team on the road against the spread. So I think Jacksonville plays better. They go up to Buffalo in September. The weather's nice. They still have an opportunity to play in good weather. And I feel like they're going to come out and play hard. Not saying they're going to win the game, but I think it will be a close game. The Bills will find themselves in a tight fourth quarter situation. I think Jacksonville will cover this 5.5. So that's what we got for Bet That. And our team of the week, we got the Patriots cover. They will not lose by a touchdown. We got the Saints and the team of the week. On the money line, Saints will win straight up against the Eagles. We got the Ravens desperate going to Dallas. They will cover the 1-point spread, basically saying it's a pick'em game, and I got them to win. Sunday night, I see a trap game on Sunday night prime time. Your boy going to try to be up in there. Got to check out my social media and see if we going to be live having people cheer for the X Factor Sports podcast at one of these tailgates. But I got the Falcons upsetting the Chiefs. And then Monday night, we picked the Jags and Bills game. And we're going with Jacksonville to cover the spread. All right. If you like those picks, go ahead and place your bets on any betting site that you choose. Remember, this isn't a gambling site. So Gamble at your own risk. Again, it's Jay Mondane, the X Factor Sports Podcast. These are the bets I feel like are going to happen, so I place these bets also. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube and Rumble, and all of the places you can listen to audio. You can catch us every week. All right? Now, before we get up out of here, we hit y'all with that 2-minute warning. I want to thank y'all again for tuning in. Before I let y'all go, we're going to talk about staying close to things that make you glad that you're alive. Right? It's been kind of a heavy episode talking about injuries and life, things like that. We do that here on the X Factor Sports Podcast from time to time. But I want to talk about staying close to anything that makes you feel glad you're alive. What I mean by that, things that make you happy, things that you're appreciative for, things that make you feel happy to be here, whether it's family, whether it's any type of inspiration you have, any type of goals you've set, anything you want to achieve, things that make you feel alive, things that make you happy. Try to strive to stay close to those things, right? Because that's what life is all about. Life is, you're here because you deserve to be. So you have to stay close to those things that make you feel wanted and needed and deserved. And that's what life is all about. That's how you find that happiness. Is staying close to anything that makes you feel those feelings. As I get older, those are the things I search for, right? Yes, money can help in certain aspects, having things, but I've always just tried to find peace. I've always just wanted to be happy. I always wanted to just be around the people that make me feel good to exist. So that's my 2-minute for y'all is just, you're here for a reason, and remind yourself of that every day, that you're here for a reason, and there are people and things around you that want you around. So gravitate towards those things. Stay close to anything that makes you feel alive. All right. This is Jay Mondane of the X Factor Sports Podcast. This was Season 5, Episode 11. The season finale is next Wednesday. You do not want to miss the season finale. We got some NBA sneak peek stuff. We got some MLB stuff going on. I'm going to talk about NFL power rankings before we step out of this season. You do not want to miss it. This is Jay Mondane of the X Factor Sports Podcast. If you like the gear, I know you noticed the different flavor of the shirt. You can always check out the X Factor Sports store, or you can click on that QR code. You see that? It's right there in the middle. It's covering the shirt probably, but be sure to scan that. And you can check out the X Factor Sports store. We got all colors, sizes, shapes for everybody. And you can cop one of these hats. We got them in gray and black. So be sure to support. Check us out. Remember, follow the formula. Subscribe plus share equals growth. This is Jay Mondane of the X Factor Sports Podcast. See you at the season finale. Peace.